Stay, motherfucker.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yo, yo.
What's up, Chris?
What's going on, Pat? How you doing, man?
I'm great, thanks, man. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. You know, just doing like everybody else, man. Locked up and, you know, trying to stay productive.
And you are being fucking productive, man. The quarantine freestyle is huge, dude. That got fucking, you're going on 2 million fucking views. I mean, all your shit gets a stupid amount of views anyways, but you know what the fuck to do, man. I respect you. I respect your grind so much, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Dude, man, like on an independent level, you did it for fucking years. Like, no, it's super, it's really, really, really impressive. And there's a reason why, because, you know, no one else would know this, but I've reached out to you in the past, like, you know, for like certain advice and shit like that, because I see you doing it like all proper. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's a whole new game now, man. You know, and I've definitely spoken to a lot of rappers. I just got the hang of it. I had to learn it like anybody else, but you know, I came up in the mixtape age, you know, where it was all about getting your mixtape on Dat Piff, working, spending all that money on studio time just to put an album out for free, basically, you know, and now the game has changed so much. And the streaming platforms, man, you know, people complain here and there, you know, they say, you know, a stream only equates to so much, but when you get enough of those things, there's you know, it's a new gold rush, if you ask me.
Yo, shout out to my ex-boyfriend Apathy and my current boyfriend Lil Windex are in the building right now.
What's up, App? Windex was popping. Apathy, yeah. Man, let me tell you, he's you know, also from Connecticut. You know, we're a small state, you know, as far as hip hop artists goes. Smaller pond, you know, there's not too many, and he was definitely the OG that I grew up looking up to, man. Apathy's one of the sickest to ever do it. And Windex is the man too. When I was up in Canada last year, he pulled up to a couple shows, came out.
Yeah, man, Apathy's a great guy. Windex, well, you know, Christian, you know, but Apathy, great guy, man. I like that guy. He's always, you know, he's always giving props and just showing love. He's always in the lives and showing love, man. It's all love.
And I didn't know. Animal.
I didn't know he was so tall till I seen that freestyle, that verse shit with you and Nems and all that shit. He's pretty tall, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is he taller than you?
That's a good question. As many times as I've hung out with Apathy, I could not tell you who the taller human being is. I'm not even sure.
I heard you got a roommate named Pat, and I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah, yes, I do. I do have a roommate named Pat. Yeah, he's upstairs chilling. We've been cleaning a good bit today, doing a deep clean. You know, just steaming the floors and all that shit.
Well, that makes sense because, you know, most rappers and like artists, I shouldn't say most, but that I've met are generally like, you know, messy people, and they say artists are like that a lot. But when I think about, you know, your success and your, you know, how you organize everything, you got all your shit in order and stuff like that. Now it makes sense. You're a clean person. You're a clean person. Am I right?
Kinda. You know, there's always organization to my mess. I'll at least say that. You know what I mean? And I can't live in like filth. So it gets to a point where I just woke up today and I looked at the floors and I was like, nah. And I just grabbed a steam cleaner, started fucking going to town, you know. You gotta have a clean enough workspace in order to, you know, I'm super ADD, so it's like I need things to be a certain type of way. A lot of us rappers are. We tended to gravitate towards the arts, you know. Numbers weren't for us.
I feel like a lot of people say they have ADD, but they weren't really like, and because I did my homework, man, and you legit were. I was I don't know if they say diagnosed or whatever, but in like grade 4, so they had to take you in the room, the 2-hour the examination. So I've been prescribed Dexedrine and Adderall and Ritalin and Vyvanse for my whole life. You know what I mean?
Me too.
Yeah, I don't take it because only time I'll take it is when I have something really productive I have to do, or I have a battle coming up, and I'm like, man, I have nothing yet. I have to take this shit. You know what I mean?
No, I take like a very small dosage. I've pretty much figured out a lot of my life, you know, because I've done a lot of drugs. That's no secret. And I do a lot less now, but it's about figuring out what works the best and kind of creating a recipe for the perfect chemical mixture in order to be effective and productive. So I found that to be about 8 milligrams of Adderall. So I get 15's vitamin half, and that is tends to do the trick. without overdoing it. Because there's also the element where as productive as you can be on Adderall, especially cleaning the house and shit like that, it's not necessarily the most conducive chemical for creativity, I would say. A lot of times you're just spinning your wheels. You'll write bars, but you're not, you know, it's not coming from the soul. So,
dude, you're totally right. That's exactly how I feel, man. I feel like when I would take it, you're coming with rhymes and they're really technically great, but there's no substance to it. There's no actual content. There's no, it's not natural. It's just like, it's like a robot. You're killing it like on a.
It's a very robotic substance, you know, so that's good at times. But I've also been taking a lot of mushrooms as of late, as like the past year, and not like taking mushrooms and tripping balls, you know, just like taking just enough to kind of unlock that latch that you got in your brain and kind of see a little bit with that third eye, let it open up, squint a little bit, you know, and just kind of see the world through a different lens than we tend to, you know?
So like micro dosing, like 0.1 or 2 or like a half?
I've done the micro dosing that low, and that's good. That's a nice mood booster, but I tend to like nibble. You know, I just like to nibble, kind of see where I'm at, maybe nibble a little more, maybe stay where I'm at. The goal isn't to be tripping. It's just to like, it's almost like a substitute Adderall in a sense, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Because I tried it too. I didn't find it that much. You know, I take it sometimes too. Me and my girl just did it like a couple weeks ago. And I tried microdosing. I didn't really know it, but maybe I just didn't take it long enough. But no, I would love to have, because, you know, yeah, when you're on shrooms, like everything sounds better. Everything looks better. Everything, you know what I mean? Like you would think you would do like your best creative shit. Because Adderall, like you said, like you would have to, I'd have to microdose on that too to find something I could do daily, because boy, do I get agitated. I'm different with my girl. She thinks I'm mad at her. You know, I take too much, then I'm like, it's just like I'm on coke.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, very similar chemical compounds at that point. So if you need you know, any advice on the right dosages of the right things to put you in the right headspace for various different things, I got you. I've spent a lifetime figuring it out.
No, I appreciate that, man. I don't know if this is, I'm not a clickbait type of person, so I'm not trying to get things out of you, but I didn't know that you you did a lot of drugs, or what, did you have a drug of choice, or was it just like every one of us crazy fucking white guys, artists that fucking get drunk and do coke and fucking whatever? It's just normal.
A lot of that. I never had like a full, I don't want to say addiction to any one type of drug, just various reliances on them. And as I've been going to therapy, you know, which is pretty cool, but I've also done a lot of self-analyzing on my own before therapy, and kind of found out that I'm an introvert, you know, and a lot of my younger years, I thought I was an extrovert, and I would use drugs and all these different tools to become an extrovert because I thought that that's what I needed to be. And as I've gotten older, you just, you know, I'm sure you know too, you just become more comfortable with who you are. And, you know, I've realized that a lot of that, I was big on ecstasy. I loved ecstasy, and ecstasy is the shit. I mean, it's super fun, but, you know, when you're using it as a crutch to be super social and be in all these situations, that's not a healthy, you know, environment to build. So, and I've cut the ecstasy out completely. The one exception is I'll allow it on New Year's Eve. But other than that, ecstasy had to go because you only got one brain.
Oh, dude, and that next day? Oh.
It's terrible. And it gets to a point where it's like the next couple days, you know, and it's just like,
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The older you get, man, the older you get, dude, like, I don't know. I said this to my homie the other day. I don't know if I could go on a bender nowadays. I don't know if I could, dude. Like, you know, I've suffered so much of my own, like, mental shit in the last couple of years that if I went on a bender, man, I would be like, man, like, you know, staying up even one day, like you hear those birds chirping, you're like, oh no.
Man, dude, the fucking anxiety and shit and the depression that comes along with it. And it's crazy to think that that used to be such a normal occurrence in my life. Because I used to be I was partying all the time. It was out of control, you know? And I never had to go to rehab. It's not like I had a dependence on any one drug. It was really just an addiction to like a party lifestyle. And fuck that, you know? And a lot of people think I'm an alcoholic.
Freezing.
So that
good.
I set a thing where it sets me a limit for my social networks each day. I surpass the limit every day, but at least it lets me know, like, you know, what is it, 4:16, and I'm just breaking the limit. It's good. You don't want to spend too much time scrolling. That's not good for the brain either, you know? But people think I drink a lot because I'm, you know, when I'm on tour, I'm always posting with the Jameson, and I love my Jameson when I'm working, but I only drink when I'm working. I only drink when I'm on tour. I don't think I've had a drink this entire quarantine. I don't know if I've had maybe a couple, but I really I don't know, man. But when I'm on tour, it's like I've built a world where I'm relying upon it. I go out on stage with my Jameson bottle, and you know, it's part of the show. The show is a party, and you know, not that it's the best thing in the world that I've created that environment and now kind of rely upon it, but at least I find a balance. Life is all about balance. That's really what it comes down to, you know? And as long as I don't take the tour lifestyle home with me, then, you know, I've managed to find that balance. And it doesn't look like I'll be touring all year, so this should be a pretty good one for my liver. So.
Yeah, man. And as long as you have good people around you, because, you know, just say I went on a tour and I didn't have the right people around me, which I never really did. Or, you know, I shouldn't say that, but, you know, like some of the right, some of the wrong, and still the wrong I love to death. But if I drank a bunch of Jameson, you better believe I'm making mistakes every day.
Well, see, and I think it's interesting because I think everyone has different liquors that react differently to everybody's body. And for some reason, Jameson, for me, when I drink it by itself out of the bottle, and there's even a difference when I drink it out of a cup because you have less control over the sips. When I drink it out of the bottle, I can make my way through a half bottle, even 3/4 of a bottle, and still remain in control. You know, like, yeah, my decision making may sway a little bit, but in general, I'm still in control. I can still perform. I never miss a syllable. So I think I've just found my liquor of choice. I also know people who can drink tequila like that. I cannot fucking do that. I drink, you know, even a couple tequilas, I'm wilding out. So it's like you just got to find what things work for you because we all got different chemical makeups as human beings.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, a certain amount though. Too, if you're in a bottle and a half of Jameson's, like you might make a bad decision. You might go do a line with a skinny random guy with a bloody nose in the bathroom, right?
Yes, that is, yeah. And that's the thing with blow. Blow is the worst fucking drug ever.
Ever.
It always seems like the best idea when you're drunk.
The worst.
It's the worst. You never like, I'm so glad I did blow last night. I've never said that in my entire life. Yet I've done blow so many fucking times I couldn't even begin to count. And I just don't understand why as soon as you start drinking and someone's like, yo, I got some blow, you're like, wow, that's great. Let's do it. I don't know.
They say it's a chemical that goes off in your brain or whatever, just like gambling type of thing. It's like right when you something about the liquor, it sets off right away. If that's what you like, you associate.
I associate one with the other. I mean, shit, I was doing fucking blow in high school. I was like leaving class to go to the bathroom, you know, and then go back to class. Like I was a fucking savage animal, you know.
Dude, I said to my homies so many times, I'm like, dude, Coke is like is the wackest. Like, we'll go out, we'll spend all this money on an outfit, the bottles, my birthday, woo, go get some women, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, we do Coke all night in a little circle of us talking about some gangster shit or talking about some whack ass shit that we don't even care about. All each person waiting to tell each other a story. Definitely can't get hard. So fuck the women. You know what I mean? You're already 8 ball deep. You ain't trying to have sex. You could get hard, but you no interest. You know what I mean? And barely. Yeah. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe that girl in the interview asked you, like, you know, you drink a lot. Have you ever in your life had a situation where you got so fucked up you couldn't get it up? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, that has absolutely happened to me. Yeah. Like several times.
Oh, it's called getting blackout. I don't remember anything, man.
Yeah. But you know, it's crazy. You kind of get older and you just learn shit about, like, I think that human beings are destined to continue to make their own mistakes on an individual level until they learn from experience. You know, I read a lot about history. I'm a big history buff, and I love to read. You know, I try to start every day by reading instead of looking at my phone, and that's actually been a really good thing. It kind of gets your brain activated and shit. But like, so much of this shit people told me, you know where your money's at, Webb. yeah, whatever. People are on top of it, you know. Like you got to learn things from experience a lot of times. So even I find myself giving advice to some of these younger guys, and sometimes they listen. Some people are better than I was at a young age, but a lot of times you just got to learn it by fucking up, you know, and getting kicked in the dick by life.
I'm surprised that you read a lot with such bad ADD, man. I could read a whole book and be thinking about sex or fucking Darth Vader or whatever the fuck the whole time and not know what the fuck I read.
You just got to catch yourself and you just go back to wherever you lost track, you know? But it's good, man. I mean, you just got to read good books. I just read a book called *STAYtuned*, which is like basically an encapsulated history of humanity from jump, like from when there were Homo sapiens and Neanderthals on the planet at the same time all the way till now. And it is like wildly interesting and very well written to keep you engaged. It could sound like that might get boring like history class, but it's not at all. It's really fucking interesting.
Would you recommend someone like me who, like, I do have reading, I have such a hard time. Maybe, what do they call it?
Audiobooks?
Yeah.
I've never tried it, but I hear it's dope. I like to have the book. Just like when I get a video game, I like to have the video game. I don't want to download it from the PlayStation store. I'm a collector of things, you know?
You like podcasts?
I do like podcasts. I'm actually, I'm learning more about them. I wasn't one of those early people being like, dude, this podcast. But, you know, I've definitely seen some crazy Joe Rogan ones. I'm watching or listening to one about The Sopranos from Bobby Bacala and Christopher from The Sopranos, and they're going through every episode. I'm like obsessed with The Sopranos, so you know.
That's dope, man. I'm glad that I don't know if you've ever seen any of my IG like conversations. This is what they're
no,
all about.
I saw you at Gin on the other day, which is super dope too, because like so I am not a battle rapper, you know what I mean? Obviously I've had my battles coming up. Every rapper worth their salt has, you know what I mean? Not like super set up well ahead of time ones, but more just like you're at a party, someone else says they rap, you say you rap. Immediately there's tension, you got to handle that. And I would air people out, you know, off the top, always to a beat. That's the one thing what you guys do with that acapella shit, man. Like that shit is just so intense. And I have so much respect for the battle rappers because like it's a completely different skill set. But I grew up just like so fascinated with battle rap to the point that I used to record Freestyle Friday on 106 in Park every single week. I have like 3 VHSs that are straight Freestyle Friday battles. I probably have more Freestyle Friday battles documented than BET does. So it's like, I was just obsessed. And then obviously 8 Mile came out and it was just like battle this, battle that. There used to be not chat rooms. They were like, do you remember that? They were like, you could battles over the internet and you would type them up on like pages. Like Jin had one. It was like holofront.com. And then Whiteout from Freestyle Friday had his own website. And basically there would be like battles against Jin's people and Whiteout's people and just typed up. It was insane. But I used to be doing that in school, you know, just sitting there typing up battles and shit. Like I'm just always been obsessed with the culture of it because I wrestled in high school too. So I love that like one-on-one gladiator shit, you know? It's really like may the best man win. You know, I'm not a big sports guy. I like teams. Cool. That shit bores me to death. But like boxing, I can get into that. You know what I mean? Like one man will walk out the victor and someone will lose, you know?
Yeah, no, so you're a really competitive guy. And like you said, everyone has had battles. If you're a rapper, you were at one point a battle rapper. Even if it wasn't at a party, everyone's first rhyme was this. I'm this, you're not. I'll do this to you. I'm fuck your girl, whatever. You know what I mean? That's your first couple rhymes, right? So everyone is like, and even the biggest rappers, you come up like as a battle rapper, you had to battle people. It's the rawest form. I'm not saying it's the most talented. There's a lot of talent, but I'm saying it's like the rawest form of like lyricism. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so incredible where it's gone from the platforms like 106 in Park, these little 30-second rounds over industry beats, to what it has become now with these leagues. And you guys are fucking monsters. You guys are gladiators. I do not even know how you do it. You have these insane rounds memorized and prepared, and like you just like that's the one thing that's always kept me away from it is the memory part, because I would say that's my Achilles heel. Once I've written and recorded a song, it's not like I usually forget my words on stage. That happens very rarely. But to go in there with a battle round, man, that shit would scare the shit out of me. I don't count on my memory like that. I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, and memorizing fucking 3-minute rounds, bro. How do you do it? What is your process of memorization, actually? I'm quite curious.
So I'm mad different when it comes to this shit. Despite my ADD, my memory is unlike any. I don't write anything down.
Okay.
I write nothing down. So it's sometimes I might write like sometimes I might record something in my phone. It'll be like, if it's a certain cadence or a certain melody or something like that I might not be able to remember or whatever. It's just so specific. Other than that, I just go over it a bunch in my head. So I have all my rounds. I never have it like on paper. So my memory, I've just kind of trained myself to have such an insane memory, man. Like even recording for like the last, as long as I can remember, I would never have a piece of paper to the mic. And the reason why I started is because I felt like I wasn't as focused and like genuine when I was performing my shit. Because I'd be like, if I just say it was a deep song, I'd be like, and you know, this is how I feel while I'm reading it off of paper, and it wasn't translating properly. So I trained myself to.
Very much so. I know exactly what you're saying. You definitely, even when I record a song, I don't like to record the verses right after I finish writing them. I need to sit with them, and I'll still be looking at them, but I'll know them. You know what I mean? I'm only looking at them as a crutch. I know how I want to say everything and the power that needs to be behind it, because you can hear, you know, especially for more lyrical rappers, when they just wrote the verse and they're reading it off the page. I can hear that in my old shit, you know, and I can tell when I just wrote something in the studio and went right in the booth. So that's very interesting. So do you write like 4 bars, then write like the 5th, and like keep practicing those 5 until you got a 6th and a 7th, and just continue going through it so you always know the beginning?
Yeah, so like, I lied. Sometimes I'll record the first couple words of my entire verse, because you know, as a rapper, any rapper watching this knows this. You try to think of an old verse, I can't remember that. As long as you remember those first 2-3 words, you got the whole thing. Got the whole fucking thing, right? So sometimes I'll go over, you know, 4 bars, 8 bars. I'll keep practicing all day, adding this and this and that all in my head, pacing around in a circle. Sometimes I walk around a lake, water for some reason, tripping deep thought. You know what I mean? I think people underestimate how much water is, like, you know, beneficial to it, like, you know, for our brains.
Nature in general is incredible, man.
Yeah, like, you know, we all like we're all in deep thought, like, you know, when we're in the shower or like walking on like a rainy day, or sometimes even dishes, we're always in like a certain depth, you know what I mean? But anyway, so walking around a lake, I'll go memorizing it, and then sometimes I'll go home and I'll record the first few words, and they're usually good, man. But I also have nightmares before my battle, then I gotta go up there and forget it all the time. And
I have nightmares that I'm on stage and I forget my verse, and it's just like, it's terrible, you know? And it's happened. So it's like actual trauma. I'm sure it's happened to you. I'm sure you've stepped in a battle and choked. Like, you've had so many battles. Obviously, at this point, you're a legend. You know what I mean? And you're very flawless in your approach. But I'm sure as you were coming up, there were times where you stepped in and just fucked up, you know?
It happened once. I was battling Thesaurus, and I didn't choke because I just fucked up the word. I just wrote that line like on the way to the battle. I was like, oh, this is so dope. And then I knew I was gonna fuck it up because it was such an intricate pattern. So I fucking I messed it up, and then I just said fuck it. I just went to the next one, but you could tell that I fucked up, and it actually costed me the battle. So, yo, it's battle rap is like, it's really hard to do. It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's not even just the memorizing 3.5 minute verses. It's okay, that's retarded in itself, but a lot of people can practice that and take months doing that and do that in the shower, walk around their house.
Exactly. It's the environment you're in. You got hecklers, you got someone staring you dead in the face. Like, it's a completely different environment than the one you practice it in. So it's like,
right when you step on that stage, it all erases. Every time you get there and you're like, oh my fuck, oh my fuck, oh my fuck. Holy shit, I forget it all. Oh my God, I hope something happens. Boom, and you catch it, and you're like, aha. And you know what I mean? Yeah. It's an adrenaline thing, man. I forget it every time.
That's wild, man. That's wild. See that pressure and stress, man. That oh my god, like it's crazy. It gets my heart racing just fucking thinking about it. Like I've kicked around the idea, you know, like Disasters even hit me and it's like, yo, would you ever want to, you know? And I'm like, because I think I have the skill set to do it. But you know, you're established as a battle rapper. I'm established as an artist. If I was to step into your field, I feel like, you know what I mean? Stakes are high.
I wouldn't go against. Okay, first of all, Disaster specifically called me before this and told me to tell you what's up. He goes, yo, Chris Webby's a fucking awesome guy, man. I'm glad that you're interviewing
Disaster, man.
He goes, man, somehow, Pat, you're interviewing all like the coolest, most honorable people. Like, and it's like, I'm so glad to be interviewing people I actually like and know that I would have a good conversation with.
Yeah.
100%. Whether it's hip hop or soft coke sticks, I enjoy every single. But yeah, if I were you, I wouldn't jump in the ring with like a Disaster. That's what, because people do that. It's like, why would you do something like that? I would go in. It's just like me going in the studio with you. I expect you to be schooling me on certain type of things, or not, maybe not the studio, but like, you know, on like touring or all the business side. Just like I called you for advice. Well, yeah, because that's your thing. You're killing it in that. You know what I'm saying? So if you were to do a battle, I would expect you to call me too and be like, yo, Pat, what do you think I should like? How? Not like what rhyme should I do? You'd be like, how should I approach it certain different ways, man?
Yeah,
so,
yeah. What's the process? 100%.
Yeah. So I would think to say you were going to battle an industry guy too, someone that you really don't like. I know you got some people in the industry that you don't like. There got to be.
Well,
the way you rap, I know there's at least 5 people that you fucking hate, aside from mumble rappers. I even seen you say in an interview, you know, there's a few people that took your blueprint and they took it further. Maybe they might have took it further and it made you a little mad, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you know,
call him out, Chris. Would you?
Well, here's the thing. You know, I used to get obsessed, especially as a white rapper, and I'm sure you can relate. You know, we're in a similar age bracket. So when we were coming up, the only comparison was Eminem. So obviously, massive shoes to fill. And all of us that were coming up in his shadow hated each other. All white rappers hated each other. You know, it just is what it is. And I'm glad that that's changed. You know, but anybody who came up in the era when we did, you know, you still got a little bit of that in you. And I used to have a lot of that. And there was a lot of jealousy and animosity because we were also always trained and taught there can only be one, you know, because there only was one really megastar white rapper for the longest. So obviously all of that has changed. But I used to obsess over that, you know, like, oh, he's getting this, he's getting that. I'm still here doing this. I just didn't realize that was all part of the way it was supposed to go down for me, you know, and realizing that, like, there's a lot of those things that these other people got that I never even really wanted. I thought I did, but I don't want the fame of G-Eazy. I don't want that at all. You know, I like where I'm at. I have a very successful independent business. Financially, things have never been better. I can go to the movies. I may get some dap on the way out. Like, oh, Chris Webby, I fuck with your music. But it's not like I'm getting fucking hounded like the Beatles. You know what I mean? So it's like I've found a lane, and it's not like I'm trying to prevent myself from getting bigger. But, you know, you realize what really matters in life, you know, and the fame just isn't what I want. It's about respect, my own dignity, and doing it my way, and financial security, you know?
Yeah.
But to go all the way back, yeah, there's definitely some people I don't fuck with in this industry. There's a lot of fake motherfuckers in this game. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But you also learn that that's the nature of the game, you know? Yeah. And a lot of people who do play ball with these labels, you know, and they do the whole major label fucking thing, you got to sell bits of your soul in the process of doing that. You know, there's no way to become a massive superstar and keep all of your integrity. After kind of studying the game for as long as I have, I do pretty much believe that. There may be a couple examples of people who just fucking hit it on the head and, you know, became massive and things just turned out for them. But a lot of times, and this extends even bigger than hip hop. I don't trust billionaires, period. You know what I mean? Anyone who's reached a certain level of success, you know, you could be a millionaire with good karma. You can't be a billionaire with good karma. I'm pretty sure of that.
No way.
You know, so it's like, at the end of the day, as frustrated as I got, because I took the longest road to success in the fucking hip hop playbook. You know what I mean? It's taken me, I just hit my 11 years in the game, and, you know, only the past 3 have I really started seeing this growth. It's like I was in the game, I was touring, I was making money to an extent, but I was constantly being overlooked, and that mattered to me. And I allowed that to kind of affect my path until I realized, fuck everybody. I am me, and that's good enough. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I definitely know, like, everything you're saying, like, you know, I can relate, you know, I can't say everything, but, you know, the whole white rapper thing, and then the Eminem, the only one person, and always being compared. And I'll tell you something that you might not believe. I didn't see 8 Mile until just under 2 years ago. I didn't
What?
watch it.
That's insane.
And I'll tell you why. Because I hated, first of all, I was just late on it in general, but I hated so much, like, I don't know if this is the real reason, but it was partially like, oh, you rap, right? Like Eminem. I'm like, nah, like myself, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I'm PatStay. They're like, yo, Eminem, he's a fucking Eminem, blah, blah. So it's like, I just even like watching the full thing for a little bit kind of made me feel, okay, you know that feeling you get as a white rapper driving down the street? But you gotta lose yourself to the music as long as you want it. There's a certain type of like cheesiness to it. Am I right?
Yeah. And listen, as a huge Eminem fan, it was just tough to come up with that comparison, period, you know? But I'm a little bit younger, so when Eminem was first coming out, I was in like 5th grade when he was really starting to make waves. So I was as impressionable as I would ever be in this lifetime. And that just flipped a switch in my head, you know? And you know, it was as simple as like, wow, a white guy can do this. That's insane. And not only can they do it, they can do it at the maximum level. You know, his skill set in that first stretch was incredible. He did something that no one had ever done. He created an alter ego that was allowed to say anything. You know, that was one of the most genius plays in hip hop history. You know, he realized that, like, because of where I'm from, I can't say this, this, and this. So let me create an alter ego who can.
Yeah.
Genius.
Oh, dude, he's amazing, man. And it wasn't like, oh, I don't like Eminem, I don't want to watch him. It was, and like I said, it was only a small part of it, but I was just kind of like, oh man, like I'm just compared. I'm just because I'm white, I'm always compared to another white rapper kind of thing. Like, I don't know what it was, man, but
No, I hear you, man. I hear you. You just gotta like embrace it at a point, and you know, it just is what it is. People are gonna say what they're gonna say, and you just gotta get to a point, you know. And this took me a long time, but you get to a point where you're comfortable enough with yourself, where you're just like, nah, not even, but whatever.
oh yeah, because I never ever rapped. I never rapped anything like Eminem, anyways. You know, it's dope. I was talking to Simon Rex.
He's
You
a
know,
funny dude, man.
Dirt Nasty, and we were on the podcast. He told me this a while ago, but he's like, you know, like him and Alchemist are really, really tight. And Alchemist was showing Eminem, you know, because they're all whatever. And Alchemist was showing Eminem my battles and whatever. And Eminem was at the time was like, this guy's my favorite. This guy's the best. Said
That's
that
incredible, man.
as this, you know, I didn't hear it from his mouth, but that's what Alchemist said to Simon. So I'll take it.
Yeah, still cool, man. Still cool. I don't know. I got to imagine Eminem knows who I am at this point, because I feel like he does do his research, but I've never had any documentation of him being aware of Chris Webby. You know, he's mentioned a lot of other newer rappers, but, you know, maybe one day.
He definitely does, man. He definitely does. I'm sure Royce and all those guys know who you fucking.
I've met Royce, you know, numerous times. I've done songs with the rest of Slaughterhouse throughout the course, so Crooked's the man, yo.
Oh, he's amazing. I had him on here too, man. I had Royce on here too, man. Fucking, I love those guys, man. I'm waiting to get Joe on here, man. I'm sure he'll come around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Joe, yeah.
I have a track with Joe from before he went full podcast.
What was the track about? What was the? There's no way you just rapped with Joe. He's not like that kind of rapper. Neither am I.
Yeah. It was like, I've been here for a minute. Kind of like being overlooked, you know, but like, you know.
I'm gonna look it up after this, man.
Yeah. It's from a long time ago. And that's one thing too, you know, I feel like I'm like 16, 17 projects in, you know, like 9 mixtapes, 3 EPs, 5 4 albums, something like that. But like, I think a lot of people, when they get in the game, their skill set tends to decline with their success.
Yeah.
And I feel like because of this long path that I took, where I never did achieve this massive success, it kept me hungry and it kept me focusing on getting better, you know, and it kept a spark under my ass where I just had to keep getting better. And there was never a point where I could sit back and say, wow, I'm a millionaire now, you know, and coming up that way has trained me where now it doesn't matter how much money I ever make, because I'm always going to be this hungry. I'm trained to stay this hungry, you know, and I don't fucking care about money. You know, you need it. Don't get me wrong. It's great to make money, but I don't care. I could have fucking $5 million. I'm still going to work as hard as I did when I had fucking 50.
That's dope.
You know, it's important, man. You got to stay hungry. You just see so many artists, and a lot of my fans will say now, you know, like, I'm at my best. How many artists can you say that about 11 years in? You know? Some, I'm sure, but not many.
Fucking, who was I just on here with? I feel like so many people. Yeah. No, you are right. Obviously, for the most part, people they decline, and that's natural. Like it's normal. Like, you know, think of Nas's best album. It's gonna be Illmatic. Jay-Z's first shit. It's, you know, all these, you know, it's because they have that hunger. It's, you know, they're not rich yet. They haven't reached a certain thing, so they're, you know what I mean. So yeah, it's definitely, you know, admirable to be peaking after like fucking 11 years. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And you just gotta like continue to stay in love with the music. That's the most important thing. And that's where I feel like a lot of people lose their path. You know, like they love it. They spend their whole life doing it, and then they achieve this success, and they get so concerned with all the things that come along with it that they lose touch and fall out of love with the actual music itself. And that's the key to everything. This is why we all love hip hop. Like, this is what we do. This is all we cared about as kids. Everybody who does this. You know, we were obsessed with it. I mean, maybe not everybody who's in the game. A lot of these kids should never have been given a pass. And, you know, and I have my own fucking problems with that, and how the gatekeepers were super harsh with our generation. You know, they wouldn't, we had to have all these qualifications, and, you know, nowadays anybody can just step on in and be a fucking rapper, which is a little crazy to me, but I also understand the times change. But we all love it. And the second you fall out of love with it, you're fucked.
Have you learned to appreciate mumble rap at all?
Yeah. People think I'm just like a hater, basically.
Well,
you know,
come on, come on. You're the mumble rap killer, dude.
I did start that. But you know what even put it on my radar was their disrespect to their elders. That's what I had a problem with. Because these are the guys that gave me a purpose in life, that showed me a path that I spent my entire life following. And these little fucking pieces of shit coming in here talking this and that about Biggie, Pac, all these people. It's just like, you know, they shouldn't even be allowed to speak their names, let alone fucking say something negative about them. So that's what really put me on to a distaste for some of these newer artists. It was their lack of respect. You know, do whatever you want to do. Make whatever music you want to make. Granted, some of them are so bad that, like, I got to take my shots because it's fun for me. It's target practice, you know, and they deserve it because they suck. And you're supposed to be good at your job. It doesn't matter if you're a fucking rapper or if you're a fucking chef or if you're a mechanic. You should be good at what you do for a living. I do believe in that.
Well, you know, as much as, you know, I know where you're coming from, and I don't like anyone disrespecting that man behind me, period. You know what I mean?
That's why I had to get at Zan. You know, that was, he said what he said, so I said something back. Then he started yapping on Twitter, and I was like, thank you for this opportunity. I'm going to body you.
Yeah, but what straight up, what I was going to say is some of these guys, the mumble rappers are and shit, because they are, you know, it is a genre or whatever. But they can do some great things that maybe you or I can't, like melodically, and just like it's a natural thing to them. And sometimes the sound of music, the vibe, is the most important. Because sometimes people don't want to just hear lyrics, and especially if they're high or drunk or they're partying. You know what I mean?
I used to love the Cash Money Millionaires. I used to love Big Timers. You know,
Hell yeah.
Still Fly was my ringtone for like a year and a half. it's not like I have this obsession with lyrical rap. Like, there's so many different types of hip hop. They all play a role. They're all important pieces of the ecosystem that is hip hop. You know what I mean? I get that. So it's not like I'm like, oh, you're not lyrical enough. I just think some of them were just all around terrible. I think there's no excuse to say that Lil Pump is a good artist. It doesn't matter what kind of music, you know, whereas some of these other guys, like I think Young Thug is interesting. I like his melodies and the things that
He's amazing. He's amazing.
Super dope. So it's like,
so dope.
You know, it's more just like picking out the weak ones in the pack and pouncing, just like a fucking lion.
Do you think maybe it's like, it's also just because like that back in the day shit is so nostalgic and it's so like, it's just embedded in us that the new shit we just can't accept? Because think about it, dude. Juvenile, his song, I didn't even meet her. I was on down the street, huh? You know that, remember the song, huh? You know what it is? Make something that was the most mumble rap song entire history, but we loved it.
Love Juvenile, man. Fucking loved it. Yeah.
We loved it. What was mumble rap? What was more mumble rap than that? Nothing. You know, I love that song. It was fire. But since it was in our day, we're like, that's classic. Do you think maybe we're just like, we're not accepting it yet? Because that was super.
Definitely. And I think my opinion on things have changed a good bit because I do realize that there's a place for everything. I love Trick Daddy. I have a super soft spot for Trick Daddy, man. Like, I'm a thug, fucking, like, okay, what's up? Shut up. You know what I mean? Like, that shit is just so fire. I think there's a place for everything, and I don't want some of the things that I've said be mistaken for me just hating on the new generation, because that's really not it. It's about the ones who have said things that are disrespectful and the ones that I view as just all around terrible imitations of something that already happened, you know?
And you're competitive and passionate, and that's what happens. Me and Merc had this
competitive game. This is a competitive game.
Yeah, me and Mercules were on here too, and he said, yeah, there was tracks where I made where I'm dissing all these, even Drake and mumble rap, and he's like, I totally take that back now. He's like, I love all these, you know, most of these songs now. That's just a part of being you know, a battle type rapper, being competitive and being passionate about what you fucking believe in and standing for. So, you know, no matter what, as an artist, you're gonna like some of it how it sounds, but you just standing your ground. You're standing your ground for
old, man. We're getting old. Yeah. We're not the target audience for some of this shit. You know, I'm 31. Like, I used to listen to a lot of that stuff we were talking about when I was like a teenager, and it was super fire because my life, that applied to my life. Like, what do I do now? I fucking stay in my house and fucking write songs, watch Netflix, and play video games, and like chill with my girl. Like, it's not, some of these things don't apply to me anymore. I'm not the target audience, and I understand and respect that, you know?
Dude, 31 is super young. I'm super young, and I'm 34. We're very young, man. We're very young. We got time, especially now. I feel like older rap is like super dope now, and there's definitely a huge pocket for it. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. It's like, yeah, I'm really grateful for that as well.
And it's some of our jobs to like put the youngins on. You know, like, they don't know any better. They didn't grow up in an era where that music was what was on the radio. So it's our job to kind of pass the testament down to the next generation, you know?
I will kick someone out of my car though if they say if they say that something like, if I'm bumping Tupac and they're like, Tupac sucks.
Yeah. Because it's just such an ignorant statement to make, you know? Like, it's frustrating, you know? But you got to understand also that there's a lot of stupid people on this planet. That's just quite simply something that you have to just come to terms with and accept too. So, you know, when it comes to scrolling through comments and seeing things or hearing opinions from people, sometimes you just got to realize, like, wow, there's some stupid fucking people out there. No offense to them. I'm sure, you know, they play a role in the world and whatever they do, and they have, you know, redeeming qualities, but intelligence-wise, not everybody knows the deal. Also, a lot of people, like, we're rappers. Of course, we're going to have the most intense views on rap. Some people, everyone else is not a rapper, so why would they care as much about it as we do? You know?
It's true, man. No, I love this conversation, man. Yo, Chris, who are your top 5 of all time? I know it's a cliche question, and I don't ever ask like normal interview questions, but everyone would want to know.
Okay. Let me see. Man, that's actually like really hard. And you know what's crazy is I've been asked that question so many times, and I just like
I'm sorry.
still. You know what I could maybe do as a top 5 albums.
Okay.
Because it's really hard, especially at this stage in the game, like the courses that different artists have taken. But 5 albums I could do. Chronic 2001, number 1. Slim Shady LP. I love it. As much as Marshall Mathers LP is the better album, there's something about the Slim Shady LP that I just love, you know, that disregard for all fucks. I'm going to say Word of Mouth by Ludacris.
Wow.
I'm going to say Restless by Exhibit.
Wow.
And this one, a lot of people are not hip, but this album was huge for me. I just stumbled upon it at a record store, and it ended up teaching me a lot. And that is When Rappers Attack by Tame One.
Okay, man. That was very well thought out. I'm so glad it wasn't just just all the top 5 that everyone else had. That's dope. Super dope.
Yeah, and those are albums that meant the most to me, you know? And so much of that had to do with the albums that you bought when you went to Sam Goody, you know? It's like whatever ones you decided with, you now had this CD. You were going to listen to it front, back, front, everything, because like that's all you had. I had my booklet of all my CDs. I put the covers on, and then the CDs on top of the covers. You know, I brought that thing with me everywhere. And it was all about, you know, just putting new CD in, fucking listen. You know, it's something that has really been lost with streaming. And as much as I love what streaming's doing for my financial situation, I do miss that love for the album. You know, it's a singles game now, you know, and I get it. I'm playing the game. It's smart. I'm playing a smart game. I'm playing the long play. And I'm making the right moves in the current environment. But I really do fucking miss those days of the album. When an album would come out, you've only heard a couple songs on it, and you take it home, and it's just like this fucking experience. I remember when another one, like, Get Rich or Die Trying, you know what I'm saying? Like, that should have been in there, too. It's just fucking hard to say 5. But I remember when Get Rich or Die Trying came out and just putting that in my boombox and just playing it in my room. Whether I was even in my room or not, it would just be playing all day, you know? And I had to get the edited versions because my mom would make me. Yeah.
You want to know mine since you're
Absolutely.
You're so curious.
Yeah, what an asshole, right? Well, you're doing the interview, so.
I'm joking, dude. I'm joking. I just treat these like conversations, man. You know, I hope you're cool with it, man. I just wanted to kick it with you anyway, right?
Dude, 100%, man.
No Order. You might not know this one. South Central Cartel, South Central Madness. Fire. I'll send you.
At all. Send me that.
I will. Tupac, All Eyes on Me. Doggy Style, Chronic 2001.
Yeah.
And the East Side is Deuces and Trey.
Dun, 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 dun. Holla at me and if you got me with DPG. Oh, man, yeah. Holla at my dogs. Man, that was a fucking jam, bro. I fucking forgot about that one.
Yeah, man. Too Short, Getting It, man. There's so many honorable mentions, man. I love the West Coast shit the most. My first 2 albums I ever bought were DMX, Dark as Hell, Hell is Hot, and then a Terror Squad album.
DMX is up there for me too, man. DMX was just incredible. But I will agree. The West Coast had Dre, and then by circumstance, Scott Storch. So just the production that was coming out of the West Coast, to me, was far more interesting than what was going on the East Coast. Because the East Coast, I feel like, had the better lyricists, but West Coast had the fucking bangers.
Yo, you're totally right, dude. I was on here with Apathy, actually, the other night. But Quake as well, my boy Quake Matthews. Shout out Quake. And we were doing an East Coast versus West Coast battle. And so he would play hits, I would play hits. And East Coast has way more selection, more like deeper songs. But I won. And he called me afterwards. He's like, it's hard to compete because I'm playing like a deep East Coast classic, and then you play this like boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, like these crazy party
What's
beats.
My Name by Snoop Dogg? How you gonna top that? You know what I
Dude.
mean? What beats that?
And even like, yeah, man, I was just playing these thumping ass songs. It's like, and the whole audience is like, hey, you know what I mean? It's hard to beat.
And I was like part of the first generation where I was looking up to people from all these different places. And back then, it's like every place had its unique sound. It's so much more homogenized now. You know what I mean? There's East Coast rappers that sound like down South rappers, etc. But back then, when I was coming up, just learning all these different styles, I was like the first test subject to take a little bit from Texas, take some, you know, some of these production elements from the West Coast, take the East Coast mindset of just like savage lyricism, you know what I mean? Learn from that Midwest chopper style, the Tech Nines and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Like, and take all these different elements that I've learned and combine it into my own style, you know? Because Connecticut didn't have like a style, so to speak. It was more just New York, you know what I mean? Like, I'm an hour outside of New York City, so that was, you know, a lot of that stuff was super big. But man, you're 100% right. Those beats, man, those West Coast beats are just untoppable from that era.
Yeah, man, big time. If I know you might not want to say, but if there was one industry rapper right now, realistically, that you would like to battle, or if, you know, let's just say, not say I want to battle so and so. If there was someone that you were offered, is there anyone specific that you'd be like, yeah, man, let's step in the ring? Not even on a fuck you part, but just like, I would like to battle this person. I think it would be a decent competition.
Yeah, but you know how people get when you start saying things. So I like to just throw the lure out.
Yeah.
Fuck with me. Anybody, I dare you. You know?
Woo! So if somebody was like, yeah, I want to jump in the ring, I'm going to fucking battle Chris.
Here's the thing. Like, yeah, I guess in a battle sense, like what you do, but there's also two types of battling. You know, there's the in the ring battle, and then there's the diss track battle. You know, the diss track battle, I know a little bit about that.
I'm talking about the ring.
In the ring, yeah, I mean, shit, I would need a bag, and I would need the right opponent, and I would want to make sure it wasn't. I wouldn't want a weak opponent. I'm not saying that. Like I want to pick the weak, you know, but I would want him. It would have to be a show for the people, you know.
I think you do a really great job, man. I wouldn't bullshit you.
Thank you. I think that I'm definitely capable of it as well, but there's certain elements that definitely, you know, battle rap. Like I said, man, all the respect, because that shit's very intense. You know? Well,
you study the shit, whether you watch it all the time or not. You watch it, you know all the fucking tapes of 106 in Park. You've been to the battles, you know what I mean?
Yeah. When you invited me out, bro, that was so sick. And I've watched so many of your battles, watched so many disasters, but I've watched just a lot of battles in general, man. And it just seeing all the different styles and what wins against what, you know, that's super just hard, like, you know, like, ooh, oh my God. But then funny tends to beat that. You know what I mean? And how there's all these different approaches. Like, dude, your battle versus Hollow to Don was just like, I fucking love that battle, man.
Thank you, bro.
Just like your approach on that was just so fucking funny. The mustache shit and everything, bro.
Thank you.
So, and I think, dude, like, comedy tends to win in a lot of situations, you know? And there's a way to mix comedy with that Mortal Kombat fatality, like rip your fucking heart out. But like, if you can bounce between the two of those, comedy is just so important, even in the diss tracks. You know what I'm saying? When you get someone laughing, you're on the track to victory.
Especially if they're too serious and aggressive.
Exactly. You can't go against that. You can't beat funny, man.
It diffuses your anger. It makes you look frustrated.
Yeah. And that's an approach that you have absolutely mastered. The fucking compliment battle is just like one of the best things on YouTube, bro. It's so good. Roan he's fucking really good too.
Brilliant.
He's fucking brilliant, dude. He really is.
Chris, man, I know you're a busy guy. I won't keep you, man. I want to say, like, genuinely, aside from people watching, I really appreciate you coming on, man. I really love this conversation. People get at me too much. They're like, Pat, you need to ask this question and this question and this one. And I really just like to treat it like I'm chilling, smoking dope with you on a couch and fucking on a couch, just hanging out. You know what I mean? Rather than Tell
absolutely.
me about the controversy you had with so-and-so. Tell me about this. Tell me about who you hate. I try not to do any of that shit too much because I respect you, and I'm very appreciative of you coming on.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for having me, brother. And when I get back up there to Canada, you know, this whole tour obviously got postponed.
Yeah.
Looks like it's getting postponed again. Just is what it is. You know, looks like everybody's getting postponed legally. So, you know, but next year it's going down, you know, so let's make sure we get you out to a show. Come hang out.
For sure, man. I'm going to hit the X first because if you hit the X first, sometimes it'll delete the whole thing and I can't save it.
Oh, shit. All right. I won't touch
Much love, Chris, man. Thank you so much.
Definitely, man. Peace.